Good morning, everyone. So today also we continue from the topic of standing wave, which we started yesterday. And we dealt with the topic of standing wave on a string which is fixed at both ends. And just to quickly recap, how is a standing wave created? If two waves, two traveling waves of equal amplitude and frequency, if they are traveling in the opposite direction, when they superimpose, it forms a standing wave. And the reason we call it a standing wave, there are certain points which always remain at rest. So best way to understand a standing wave is to visualize or draw this figure kind of thing. What we understand in case of standing wave based on the end condition, which the 2 points which are fixed. And this point fixed itself means this point will not move. And these points which are always remaining at rest are given a name called nodes. And so this is the end condition we apply. And based on end condition, this is a very simple expression we come to. The length of the string is n times the half wavelength. Okay, n times the, so it could be, L could be half wavelength, it could be 2 half wavelength, 3 half wavelength, and n is the integer here. And as the, see, this is the figure what we see here. So this is corresponding to n is equal to 1. So there's only 1 half wavelength between the two supports here. So when there's only 1 half length here, wavelength is longest and frequency is lowest. And this is minimum frequency at which a standing wave can form on a string fixed at two ends is called fundamental frequency. Fundamental frequency, frequency is lowest, wavelength is longest, and n is equal to 1. So how many half wavelength? 1 wavelength. And corresponding, we write the frequency. This formula is very easy to understand, easily can remember. And then we should remember also. The fundamental frequency is also called first harmonic. And then that was correspond to n is equal to 1. When we take n is equal to 2, two half wavelengths will form. So just if we have to draw the figure also, what we do here, so this length we divide into 2 parts. And each part will have 1 half wavelength. And this is how the figure becomes. And here, this point becomes node. And you can, once you draw the figure, many things can easily be answered here. So when you compare this wavelength here, what has happened here? The wavelength here has become smaller. It has been shrunk. See, the earlier half wavelength was this much length. Now wavelength has become half. Frequency has become double. So after fundamental frequency, next higher frequency on which the string can oscillate is called first overtone. So first overtone, n is equal to 2 is first overtone. Or we say if pth overtone, n has to be equal to p plus 1. It is one higher. And so first overtone, wavelength becomes half, frequency becomes double. And nth harmonic, it will have, so if you have to draw nth harmonic means what we need to do if nth harmonic is, see if it is 8. How do you draw a figure corresponding to n is equal to 8? We divide this length into 8 parts, and each part will draw one loop, and that becomes the shape. So n loops. And and whenever it is nth harmonic, overtone is one number less, because for fundamental frequency is not counted as overtone. Overtone is a multiples of that. So and this is the second overtone or third harmonic. And this equation. And we notice the equation here is in form of sine of x. So basically means since sine at x is equal to sine is 0, it automatically means that x is equal to 0 is a node. Okay. And let's look at some very simple question. And this is basically one equation, what we talked about in the previous sheet. If we apply, we can solve most of the question. So this is the equation. Moment you look at the equation, first thing we should be able to spot difference between traveling wave and standing wave. When x term and t term are separated in terms of product of sine and cos function, it is a standing wave. It is not ax plus minus bt form. So this question is a standing wave. And let's see, what is the frequency of vibration? Frequency we get from here. This coefficient of t, this is value of omega, or this is equal to 2 pi f. So from this we can obtain frequency of vibration. How do you obtain position of node? Node is the point. So there are 2 ways of finding position of the node. One way of understanding the node is forming x is equal to 0, and node will form at a distance of half wavelength. Every half wavelength, node will form. So one way of finding position of node is find the wavelength. How do we find the wavelength? This term is coefficient of x is k. So we can find wavelength from K expression. K is equal to 2 pi by lambda. We compare with this value of K here, which is pi by 10. So we get the lambda. Lambda is equal to 20 centimeter. So for any such thing, we can easily find lambda. So what is the position of node? 0, 20, 40, 60 and all. We can find out position of lambda. Now, what is the length of the string? If it is vibrating in third harmonic, there are 3 half wavelengths. So it means length of the string will be 3 into lambda by 2. We can easily form length of the string also. What is the wavelength? The speed of the transverse wave that can interfere. What is the speed of wave? We have omega term, we have the k term. Omega by k is the speed of wave, which has interfered to give rise to this vibration. So they are very simple terms, just use of formula, not too complex. And this is how the shape will look like. In a similar way, let's look at this question also. A wire of uniform cross section is stretched between 2 points 1 meter apart. So if you visualize the figure, this distance is given, L is given as 1 meter. The wire is fixed at one end and weight of 9 kg is hung over pulley and other end. And it produces a fundamental frequency. Moment is fundamental frequency means between these are the two fixed points, and it is vibrating in only 1/2 wavelength. So one loop only will form. Fundamental frequency will drop one loop across the whole length. So what is the velocity of transverse wave? So what are the things which are given? Moment we form one loop, the wavelength is known. Fundamental frequency, very easy. Fundamental frequency means first harmonic, and which is given as 750. And since this length is lambda by 2 is equal to 1 meter or lambda is 2 meter, that also easily you can obtain from this figure. So frequency and lambda both are given, we can find the speed, which speed is equal to 1500 meter per second. This is pretty simple. Now, what is given here? What if the suspended weight is submerged in liquid of density 5 by 9? So what happens? We bring a kind of a water liquid container. It's filled with some liquid, and whole weight is submerged in a liquid. Moment is submerged in liquid, what changes will take place? Anish, can you tell me what changes will take place if moment this is done? If the weight is submerged in liquid. Can you tell me one by sequence what would happen? What changes will take place?
The apparent weight will be less than the normal.
So basically, we can say apparent weight, or basically moment we submerge into liquid. Other way of what you are saying now, if you understood, you are saying the force of buoyancy also will start acting. And hence, because of force of buoyancy, the apparent weight will become equal to weight minus force of buoyancy. Okay, so apparent weight, or basically we'll say if the apparent weight, or so this tension also will change. So tension also will change. What is the effect of so force of buoyancy will start acting? Because of force of buoyancy, the weight will change and tension will change. What is the effect of change in tension? If the tension changes, in what way what we need to calculate here? Then the weight on will the velocity of wave traveling in the string change if the tension changes?
Yes, sir.
Because the velocity is equal to root t by mu. Mu has not changed. Moment tension has reduced, the velocity also will reduce. And if the velocity reduces, fundamental frequency also will change. So fundamental frequency, what is fundamental frequency? Fundamental frequency, in this is something we must remember also, V by 2L. V changes, fundamental frequency also will change. So once we understood, let's solve this expression. So all this what we need to know. So earlier, tension was equal to weight, which is equal to mg. After we submerge into liquid, tension become T dash. This will be equal to weight minus force of buoyancy. And mg could have also written, since whenever we talk about force of buoyancy, many times it is mentioned in terms of density. What is given? Liquid of density, which is 5 by 9 of the weight. I think right term should have been the density of the liquid is 5 by 9 of the density of solid. And so whenever force of buoyancy is involved, we can write the weight in terms of density. This is rho s into rho L into Vg. So the weight is equal to rho s into Vg. And similarly, if we write force of buoyancy also will be equal to minus rho L into Vg. What does this mean here? This means rho L, density of the liquid, is 5 by 9 density of the solid. This is what is given. So we understand here, even before we start solving, what we need to understand here. Whenever we submerge any object here, we can submerge it fully or we can submerge it partially. If it was submerged only, this is actually volume submerged. If it is fully submerged, these both are equal. If it is 50% submerged, I would have written Vs equal to 0.5, depending on fraction of submergence. Okay, so what happens? So now it is easy to write. Basically, how we understand here. Thus, again, to repeat the point here, moment this weight is submerged here, it will become apparent weight. It will get reduced by magnitude equal to force of point C. So tension will become the T from T, which was equal to weight. Now it will become T dash, weight minus force of point C, which can be written in form of density. As the tension changes, velocity changes. As the velocity changes, fundamental frequency also changes. Yes, Vignesh?
Sir, how do we know that it will still be in first harmonic? So, like, what does the n value depend on? Is it constant?
Basically, what will happen? See, what does harmonic mean? Just try and understand here. Suppose earlier the weight was suspended here. If I strike this string here, if I hit this string with the metal or something, it will set into vibration. It will have some frequency. After I summon this weight here, again I strike this wire here. Will it emit the sound of same frequency? Just think of it like a guitar wire. If I change the tension in the guitar wire, does the sound of guitar change or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what we have to understand, weight of the wire and frequency. Whenever nothing else is mentioned, you assume the frequency is fundamental frequency. Is that your question?
Yes,
no, whenever nothing is mentioned, so we assume the frequency is, you refer to fundamental frequency. Rest all is easy to solve. So the T will change, wave velocity and fundamental frequency also will change. What is V dash? V is proportional to root of tension. So V dash by V. V dash is later in this V is initial velocity and this is final velocity. W minus FB by W. And this is the expression what you have written here. And very easily we can write and this expression. So basically this term will come equal to what? This term will be equal to rho S minus rho L divided by rho S. And we don't make a formula. Why don't we make a formula? The problem with the formula is any small changes you are stuck. Sometimes they may give a question if mass is submerged only to the extent of 50%. So submerged air volume is 50% of V. In that case, it has to change. So this question is very simple. We can sign this is rho S and rho L is equal to 5 by 9 rho S divided by rho S, which comes 4 by 9 is equal to 2 by 3. Velocity becomes 2/3, V dash becomes 1000. As V dash becomes 1000, F also is equal to V by 2L. Length will not change. In the same proportion, fundamental frequency also will change. So V velocity has become 2/3, fundamental frequency also become 2/3 of this initial value. Okay, and there's something called what we have seen in this figure. This also is like a sonometer. Let's see this instrument. This is called a sonometer. The sonometer also something similar to what you have seen before. Here also you can think of sonometer like a guitar string or a kind of string passing over a pulley suspended by beat. The sonometer is this kind of instrument here. Only thing what we hear is a string fixed at two ends. So this also sonometer produces a condition where string is fixed at two ends. Which are the two ends it is fixed at? These are the 2 points its string is fixed at. Okay, and these two things where supports are inserted here, these are called bridge. And if I change the position of bridge, effectively what happens, the length of the string changes. And if I change the weight here, the tension changes. And in fact, we can insert one more bridge. We can have two strings which are connected to same weight having same tension with different lengths. So basically sonometer, and there's a resonance box, there's a wooden box kind of thing. This box serves same purpose as some of the old guitar, not electric guitar. Electric guitar has a different way of amplifying sound. The other guitar, you can see a wooden box kind of thing. Wooden box amplifies the sound. Okay, it is called resonance box, similar to guitar box, what you see. Okay, so tension can be adjusted by changing the weight, and length can be adjusted by appropriate position of the bridge. And we can divide the length also. We place one more bridge, and see one more way we can think of it is, suppose we have a wire like this, and close to the wire, if we bring a tuning fork, we'll come to this question. This is something called a tuning fork. You strike a tuning fork against a rubber pad, it starts vibrating at a fixed frequency. So it's a very cheap instrument. It's just like a wood, it's like metal prong, and it vibrates in a fixed frequency. So whenever, if this wire will have a natural frequency depending on tension and mu, but when you bring a vibrating tuning fork close to the wire. If this tuning fork frequency matches with the natural frequency of the wire, this start vibrating with large amplitude. That's the resonance. So basically, vibration of tuning fork, it leads to vibration of air particles. Air particles strike this wire. They may also set, this is an example of forced vibration. So whenever tuning fork also makes this string to vibrate in the same frequency, but amplitude becomes much larger if tuning fork frequency matches with the natural frequency of the wire, and that condition is called resonance. Resonance, we have two objects which are vibrating. If two have same natural frequency, we come to state of resonance. And how do you understand resonance? In case of resonance, see, if we place a small piece of paper on the wire, we fold the paper in shape of inverted V. We place this paper here, and based on the vibration of paper, we can understand whether it is in a state of resonance or not. In case of resonance, it start vibrating at a large amplitude. So basically, this instrument with a tuning fork, we can find out whether or not it is in a state of resonance. What is the resonance condition? Resonance condition, two things are vibrating. One is a string which is vibrating, other is tuning fork. If there's a resonance, it means resonance simply means two things are of same frequency. And in case of resonance, sound becomes louder and amplitude becomes larger. So tuning fork creates vibration of fixed frequency when struck against a rubber pad. The resonance between sonometer wire and tuning fork, when natural frequency of a string matches with that of the tuning fork. And what is the natural frequency? Natural frequency is all integral multiple of f naught. And whenever this both match, there's a large amplitude accompanied with louder sound also. And we say typically what will happen, this small piece of paper will fall when amplitude becomes more. This is nothing new about it. Only thing new about sonometer, when we talk about resonance, tuning fork frequency has to match with the frequency of wire here. Let's say guitar string. This is something we can understand the similar thing in terms of guitar. So here also what will happen, suppose we have, we keep these bridges here and we keep the tension same. What are things which can be altered here? We can change the wire. If we change the wire, mu will change. If we change the tension, speed will change, tension will change. We can change the spacing between the two bridges, length will change. What will happen as the frequency is equal to V by 2L, we can easily calculate effect of each of these parameter I'm talking about. What is V equal to root T by mu? So if I change the length also, fundamental frequency changes. If I decrease the length, frequency will increase. If I increase the length here, frequency will decrease. Similarly, tension also will change frequency, and mu also will change frequency. And if we have simple equation, I don't know why, but this particular topic, people write in detail. There's a law of length. What the law of length means? If other things are kept same, frequency is inversely proportional to length. There's law of tension. If length is kept same, wire is kept same, fundamental frequency is square root of tension. What is law of mu? Law of mu is something similar. So this equation tells you all three laws. If any of the parameter changes, the fundamental frequency will change. And this is something, those who play guitar, what happens while playing the guitar? It's basically we press the wire at different point. So suppose guitar also has different reeds, and initially the wire is not touching those metal reeds or the small metal kind of small thin metal plate. But when you press the wire down, it start touching that piece. So if there are multiple, pressing a particular point on the guitar string actually changes the length of the guitar string. It shortens the length of the guitar string. So next question is something like that. A guitar string is 90 centimeter long. So something like this, if you visualize, you can always visualize is there's something like this. Guitar string is 90 centimeter long, and it has a fundamental frequency of 120. So basically means if I set this guitar string, if you strike, this set into vibration, the number of ways you can set into vibration. And what is the pluck you use? You can just pluck it here and it start vibrating. It will emit a sound of 124 hertz. What happens where should we press? So basically there are different reeds here. There are different reeds. You can press the wire and make it touch a different part. Okay. So where should we be pressed to produce a fundamental frequency of 186? So if I have to change the frequency is V by 2L. If I want to change the frequency, velocity is not changing. Okay? This case is pretty clear. The wire is not changed, tension is not changed. We are changing frequency by changing length. So this question is very simple application of fundamental frequency is proportional to 1 by L. That's the length of the law. So what is F dash by F will be equal to? It will be L by L dash. And very easily you can obtain that expression. What should be L dash? Yes, Alan?
Sir, when we press it down, won't the tension change, sir?
The tension does not change. Now, what we are assuming here, this is small change in length, but what we assume the delta T. When you can say when we press this small change in length, tension, but delta T is much less than initial tension. And actually, when we vibrate, also I think I mentioned earlier also, the length of wire changes slightly. But if we, since these amplitudes are so small, and when you press also, this amplitude is so small, the change in length is so small, it does not significantly alter the tension of the wire. So we'll assume the tension to remain constant unless the question mentions otherwise. Okay. So far we talked about oscillations set in a string, which is fixed at both ends. How about can we also do something similar in case of string fixed at one end and free at other end? Because two combinations are possible. What are two Okay, so what you can do standing if one is fixed at both ends, other is what you can visualize is something like this. If we have a string which can be fixed at one end, and other end, if I connect it to oscillator, an oscillator could be a tuning fork. If I connect it to tuning fork, what will happen? This tuning fork oscillate in the transverse direction. This will become my fixed end, and this will become my free end. So what will happen is, see, can you easily think of where would the node form and where will anti-node form? When we talk of free end here, this point will have maximum amplitude of oscillation. The free end becomes anti-node and this becomes node. And all these questions related to standing wave, if you can visualize how the wave shape will form, you can easily get your answer. So if it is a node and anti-node, so what would be the fundamental frequency? Fundamental frequency corresponds to this is lowest frequency. If frequency is lowest, wavelength is largest. For largest wavelength, how would the wavelength be largest? When the number of nodes and anti-nodes between two ends are minimum. So there's a node, there's an anti-node, and if there's nothing else in between, the wavelength become largest. And how would the shape, how would the string oscillate? This is how the string will oscillate. This is how the string will oscillate if it is free at one end. And in terms of wavelength, how much is this wavelength equal to? If length of the string is L, and in terms of wavelength, you should understand here, distance between node and anti-node is equal to lambda by 4. So even without any derivation based on previous understanding, I can understand this is how fundamental mode length has to be equal to lambda by 4. And the same thing we can arrive at from derivation also. And derivation, so these are two equations. And we have already skipped this time lambda is equal to, because lambda comes to 0 based on end condition at x is equal to 0. So we have already written equation without this delta, sorry, not lambda, we have written this equation without this delta here. So this equation, if we add it up, this was the equation. In this condition, we have already made use of, or we have already satisfied one condition. Which condition we have satisfied? It is fixed at x is equal to 0. What is the other end condition now? The second end condition is boundary condition, what you call at x is equal to L, it is an anti-node. And at x, so basically, how do we write this condition in terms of an equation? If it is anti-node at x is equal to L, amplitude is maximum. This is amplitude term. Amplitude will be maximum and this term is equal to 1. That's the condition. So at x is equal to L, the sine kx has to be equal to 1. That's a boundary condition for x is equal to L being an anti-node. Shreya, is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Good. So we put this value of, so this is a condition we apply here. So or KL, so this term has to be equal to, if this has to be equal to 1, so basically this, if it has to be 1, this angle has to be either, we can write pi by 2, 3 pi by 2 and 5 by pi by 2, which can be written as 2n plus 1 pi by 2. This angle has to be equal to our argument of sine function, which is KL, has to be equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2. KL can also be written in terms of wavelength 2 pi by lambda into L is equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2. And once we have this expression, and we can write the L term here. L term is 2n plus 1 lambda by 4. This 2 also will come here. And n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and all. And what is the fundamental mode? Fundamental mode is when n is equal to 0, L is equal to lambda by 4. That's how string will oscillate. If this is L, we find the value of lambda here. Lambda is equal to 4L divided by 2n plus 1. We can write the same equation. See, if this is written in terms of wavelength, we can write also in terms of frequency. How do we convert into frequency? Frequency is speed by wavelength. So we speed by wavelength, we substitute frequency is equal to 2n plus 1 v by 4L. And this is another formula we need to remember. So far in string, in case of standing wave, two formulas. And they're not too difficult to understand and very easy to arrive at also, if you understand this figure here. One case, in case of fixed at both ends, F was equal to NV by 2L. In case of one end free, one end fixed is equal to 2n plus 1. So in place of n, this term, what does 2n plus 1 indicate? 2n plus 1 indicate this number has to be always an odd number, V by 4L. So this is 2L, it becomes 4L here. Why the wavelength becomes 1/4 here? So this is something, if you recall, if you understand this figure, wavelength becomes 1/4 or wavelength becomes equal to 4L. Okay, so this is standing wave equation, and on a string fixed at one end and free at other end. So what is fundamental frequency? Fundamental frequency, lowest possible frequency. Lowest possible frequency when the whole term is equal to 1, which is equal to V by 4L, and wavelength is equal to 4 times lambda. This is the shape how it will oscillate if this end is free. You can think of this end being free, you can put a string or you can connect it to an oscillator like this. What is the next higher frequency, which is called first overtone? What is first overtone? Harmonics are all integral multiples of fundamental frequency are called harmonics. So this one is first harmonic. If I multiply by 2, it becomes second harmonic. If you multiply by 3, it becomes third harmonic. Harmonics are nothing but integral multiples of fundamental frequency. But what does overtone means? Overtone is next higher frequency after fundamental frequency where it can oscillate. So next higher frequency is not 2f0, it is 3f0 here. Because the 2f0 doesn't exist. What we can say, this is how it will oscillate. So what happens in next case, next higher case, here there was only node and antinode. Next higher case, you will draw the figure. We have to insert one more node and one more antinode. This is how the shape will be. Next higher, next lower wavelength and next higher frequency. Second overtone. Second overtone, as one by one we keep substituting different value of n starting from 0. 0 is fundamental. If I substitute n is equal to 1 is first overtone, n is equal to 2 second overtone. So n itself indicates number of overtones. If n is equal to 5, if I substitute here, that will be the fifth overtone. So that will be, so second overtone, n is equal to 2, this whole term becomes 5, 5 into f0. So only odd harmonics exist. So which are the harmonics possible? 1, 3, 5, only odd harmonics exist. And if we take the difference between two successive harmonics is equal to twice f0. In previous case, the difference between two successive harmonics, since odd harmonics exist, difference between two successive harmonics was equal to f0. Here, difference between two successive harmonics is equal to 2f0. So probably this is how it will oscillate in second harmonic. So what are we doing here? Every time whenever it oscillates, the end has to be equal to 1/4 wavelength. End has to be antinode here and this. So every time we add one more harmonic, 1/2 wavelength is getting added. First overtone, 1/2 wavelength added. Second overtone, 2/2 wavelengths added. Okay. What we have done in case of string, same thing is valid in case of organ pipe. So if we in terms of musical terms, what is valid in case of guitar string? Same thing is also valid in case of wind instrument like flute. So there also, what is an organ pipe? Organ pipe is like a cylinder which is containing air within it. Okay, so in fact, this also, if you think here, so whenever we create oscillation, we can create oscillation. Which kind of oscillation here? Oscillation will be, unlike previous case, it will be longitudinal wave, longitudinal oscillation. If I place a tuning fork here, which oscillates like this tuning fork will set up longitudinal oscillation in the air particles which are within this cylindrical tube. And when it oscillates, it's easy to understand there are some particles which will have no oscillation. For these particles which are close to the closed surface here, if lower body this surface is closed, these particles cannot oscillate. Next to the surface, this particle will not oscillate. So end which is closed is equal to fixed here, and end which is open is like a free end. And very easy compared to organ pipe. Strings are easier to understand, and we can draw parallel. So what we notice here, organ pipe, this is one end closed. We call it closed organ pipe. This is, in terms of waveform, is identical to string free at one end. This one is identical to free at string fixed at free at one end. So closed end displacement node, closed end will always form a displacement node, and open end will form an antinode, similar to string with one end free. So this will be fundamental mode of vibration in organ pipe closed at one end. This will be first overtone, and this will be the second overtone. And if this is F naught, this will be 3F naught, and this will be 5F naught. So in terms of formula for closed pipe is exactly same as string free at one end. Which formula we use here? Exactly the same formula. Only difference is this: in case of string, velocity V is velocity at which wave travels in a string. Here this V will be equal to sound velocity. Because of course the wave is traveling here in the medium, air medium is there, and air medium, unlike in case of string, the wire is the medium. And we can change the tension, we can change the cross section, we can change the mass per unit length. So we can change V. In this case, in case of organ pipe, it's not easily possible to change the speed of oscillation. It's not possible to change the speed at which the sound travels within the organ pipe. We can change it by changing temperature or replacing air with some other gas. Otherwise, V remains unchanged. Otherwise, formula is same. So there are only two formulas. One formula for string fixed at both ends, and one formula for string fixed at one end, free at other end. So whatever formula we have for string fixed at one end is also valid for a closed organ pipe. So there also exactly same thing it follows. Fundamental frequency is V by 4L, and only odd harmonics exist. Difference between two successive natural frequencies is equal to 2F naught. We also have something like an open organ pipe. Open organ pipe also, if you understand that part here, so here also both the ends are open, so both the ends will form displacement antinode, and this is the case. This is the situation for fundamental frequency. So what you notice if we compare here, this also, what is the length here in case of fundamental frequency? Antinode, node, and antinode. This also will be lambda by 2. Which is very similar to string fixed at both ends. Only change was what has happened if we have a fixed string here, if we compare with the fixed string of equal length. In case of string, two ends, this node would have formed. Here also node would have formed. It would have antinode would have formed. In case of node and internode, the node and antinode interchange the position. Rest of the thing, displacement remain exactly the same. So in case of pipe open at both ends, we call it open organ pipe. Then reflections takes place at both ends, and they form displacement antinode at both ends. And this formula is identical to the string fixed at both ends. So what is the formula? This is a formula for string fixed at both ends. Frequency, natural frequency is n into V by 2L. Same formula is valid here. L is the length of the pipe. And what is V here? V is the speed at which the sound travels within the pipe. N is equal to 1 is equal to fundamental frequency, 2 is equal to first harmonic, second harmonic, and first overtone. N is equal to 5 will imply what? Fifth harmonic and fourth overtone. All integer harmonics exist. So in essence, we are talking about only two cases. One case we talk about, if we understand basically this topic is simple topic and important topic. In a standing wave, we have come across two cases, and rest of it is intelligent use of only two formula with understanding. Which are the two formula? One formula is F is equal to NV by 2L. Other formula is F is equal to 2N plus 1 V by 4L. That's the only two things we have to use, and we just understand when to apply which one. And I think it's not very difficult to figure out. This is in case of fixed string and open pipe. Fixed string, open pipe. This is in case of free string at one end, closed pipe. Rest all is so this particular topic, not too many variations, is basically use of two formula. And if you practice few questions, you'll find this is pretty easy. And it needs some practice, and you can just quickly get a hang of it. A simple application of resonance column. A simple application of, yes?
So I didn't understand why the formulas are same, like for both open at both ends and closed at both ends.
Can you think of a reason? What do you understand from here? See, but in case of string fixed at both ends are similar. Both ends are similar. What are both similarity in both ends? Both ends form a node.
Yes, sir.
What happens in case of open pipe?
Both ends form antinode.
They form an antinode. We can derive the equation, but I think the derivation equation doesn't give you any better insight. And are you following, sir? If I have to draw wave shape, are you understanding this wave shape here?
Yes, sir.
What kind of wave shape I can draw so that wavelength is maximum? Can I draw any other wave shape which will have longer wavelength? It cannot have. I have to start with antinode here. So I have to start with this shape, and there's another antinode here. Minimum, there has to be one node in between. So if I draw a shape, minimum number of antinodes and nodes make the wavelength maximum. So here I have only one antinode. Here what happens if I draw the shape, here become two nodes, become three nodes. And the spacing also, spacing between node and antinode. Do you understand why the spacing between node and antinode has to remain constant? It comes from the sign equation. So,
yes, sir.
So very simple terms, why are they similar? Because in fixed end, both ends are identical condition. Here also both ends are identical condition. There they form nodes, here they form the antinode. But overall terms remain similar. And we can easily use these equations. Yes?
Sir, I didn't understand why only antinodes should be at the open ends.
Okay. Here, what should there be antinode or node here at the closed end?
No, sir. No, sir.
Node. And if this is this is node and vibration is happening, what should happen at the other end? Can there be node here? This particle can have maximum oscillation. This is an antinode.
Sir,
is there any proof? Pardon me?
Both particles are in air only, right? So there's nothing restraining them.
No, there's nothing restraining them. But is there anything restraining them here?
Yes, sir.
It is restraining. And you find, see, is there any difference between air molecule which are inside and outside? Is there any difference? Is it a boundary in any manner? Is there any difference between the air molecule here and this air molecule? One air molecule is slightly inside the pipe, other is slightly outside the pipe. Can you think of any difference between the two? See, what can happen? The reason only thing is here the pressure cannot change. Here the pressure can change. Why the pressure cannot change here? This is the open atmosphere. And this is something, this is inside. And more than this is not necessary. So is there any very smart proof is there which proves it is an antinode? No, no book will find a proof kind of thing. This is very intuitive and not difficult to understand. But would you get a absolutely concrete proof of this? No, you won't get it. It's very simple logic. and very intuitive. If you understand, this is the difference here. Yes, sometimes people question what way this particle just inside is different from outside. It is different because here because it is confined air. Within confined air, the pressure can change. So whenever there's a displacement happening, here this is in this case of displacements are not equal, and whenever displacements are not equal, if you understand, it will lead to pressure variation. So pressure variation can happen inside, pressure variation cannot happen outside. That's the only difference here. And since it is node, and this very logically node cannot form, and this is a boundary condition. So logically, if the process of elimination, if I think this has to be an anti-node. And it is open and is anti-node here. This is nothing here. This is same logic extended here. This is anti-node here also. Here also, it forms a boundary. And it forms a boundary, it has to be an anti-node. It cannot be a node. Okay, and many things, when you look at this also, when you start checking whether things do they meet any experimental test, and suppose air column also, we want to check whether all the things make sense or not. I don't know, people may not have done this experiment, but this is an experiment which is commonly done in most labs also. And just try and understand here. And if you conduct an experiment, see, many things you understand much better if you experience it yourself. So what are you talking about? Resonance and anti-node, node, fundamental frequency. This is all something you hear in the class. But if you have this facility, and which is there in the lab, you conduct an experiment that make you experience it firsthand. Let's see what happens here. And let's assume that if this kind of observations are, if I observe this, what conclusion does it lead to? Let's see in this case, what is given here. This is something, see, in case of this is a kind of tube here, which could be glass tube, it could be metal tube. And it is connected to a water reservoir here, which can move up and down. And you understand here, if this reservoir, if I move it down, what will happen? The water level also in the tube also will move down. So we can, using the external reservoir here, we can adjust the level of water by pouring more water or taking the water out. Water levels, this is a resonance column. It is used for determination of speed of sound. It acts like one end closed organ pipe. Because when we have this one, where is the air here? This part is water. Air is only in this part. This forms the air column. This is where the air is. And when you look at this, this end is open, and this end, there's a water surface here. Water surface closes one end. So this forms one end open, one end closed, which is called a closed pipe. So this acts as a closed pipe of varying length. Length can be altered. Length can be changed. So we can conduct experiment for different length. What we use here, so tuning fork of known frequency is vibrating. Suppose I have a tuning fork. Let's say speed of sound, let's say simple case we take, let's assume at 20 degrees, speed of sound is 1340 meter per second. I get a tuning fork which has frequency of 340 hertz. If it has a frequency of 340 hertz, it means this tuning fork creates wavelength of 1 meter. It will create wavelength of 1 meter. So you start vibrating this tuning fork at the top. So we keep this tuning fork, strike the tuning fork, we keep it at the top, and we start, suppose initially the water level is high, so length of tube is very small. We gradually start increasing the length of the organ pipe by lowering the water level. So water level is slowly lowered, and we keep observing a sound. So as the tuning fork is vibrating, we hear some faint sound. Suddenly what we notice, at certain depth of water, suddenly the sound becomes loud. What does loud side indicate? That indicates resonance. So loud sound, and this is something is very distinct and it can easily be observed. Anybody can notice that sound at a particular length of air column. The sound suddenly becomes loud. Can you think of reason why the sound has become loud? Ahlad, can you think of reason why the sound has become loud? Can you explain in terms of some words?
Fundamental frequency.
Now, which two? See, first of all, it is state the two things. Well, which are the two frequencies which are matching here?
Frequency of T1 and the
air which is vibrating. Now, so this is the moment we make air molecules vibrate, oscillation of, so there's air inside this air column, and air also is oscillating, and depending on its length, it will have natural frequency. So when we are changing the length of the air column here, we are changing the natural frequency. And whenever natural frequency matches with the external source frequency, its amplitude becomes large, and amplitude becomes large, the sound also becomes large. That is the state of resonance. So what we find for different, as there's some minimum length, we find resonance, and then after some time we continue further. Again, we find whatever length we have formed a resonance here. Again, roughly 3 times that length, we find one more resonance. If lambda is equal to 1 meter, if I take up tuning fork, which has frequency of 340 hertz, I will find the first resonance close to 0.25 meter. What does that mean, 0.25 meter? 2.5 meter, this standing wave which is getting formed here is of length equal to lambda by 4. I get first resonance here. And then I'll get the second resonance at 75 centimeter. And if it is 75 centimeter, is 3/4 of wavelength is forming. It is like this. So that's what the standing wave, and this is something. And again, this kind of experiments prove that assumption that open end is like an anti-node is correct assumption. There's slight error, which we'll see in the next slide. It is almost correct. So this experiment, what we do here, first resonance, the length of the air column is the least, hence it is in the fundamental mode. And in case of closed pipe, what we know, the length is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 4. The fundamental mode, L1 is equal to lambda by 4, as you see from the figure. The first resonance will occur when the length of the air column becomes equal to lambda by 4. Similarly, by further lowering the water level, when we lower the water level, we're increasing the length of the organ pipe. As we keep increasing here, the length is increased. Then the next will happen at what length here? 3 lambda by 4. Third harmonic is obtained. In case of this is closed organ pipe. So closed organ pipe, only odd harmonics exist. Fundamental frequency. This will odd harmonics exist here. And L2 will be equal to 3 lambda by 2, or 3 lambda by 4. Or L2 minus L1. Of course, these two, the distance between the two always will be equal to lambda by 2. So basically, by either from this equation, in fact, we don't even need the second reading. Whenever we get the first reading here, moment we get L1, we get the value of lambda. We multiply lambda by the frequency of the tuning fork, we get the speed of the sound, even if it is not known. So using this experiment at any place, at any particular condition, we can find the speed of sound. The speed of sound at which the sound wave travels in the medium which is there inside the tube. If I replace air with something else, we'll find a different speed. All we need to do, we have to make sure the speed reflects the speed of molecules which are present within the air column in this. Okay, but actually what is observed, there's some small error is always observed. And why it is so, actually what they feel, this anti-node, we take the waveform. Waveform doesn't really start at the top end of the pipe. It starts somewhere a little beyond. Okay, so it start at, so actual anti-node is not exactly at the top end of the tube, is slightly beyond because some inertial reason which we don't have to know. And this is called error, and this is extra error. So actual length of, when we record the length, actually when I'm recording L1, I'm recording the distance between anti-node and node. But my reading in the instrument start from here. True reading should have started from here. So what I should do, I have to make a correction. When I record the length, the true length should be recorded length plus the correction. The true length between anti-node and node is not L1, it is L1 plus E. And similarly, second reading also we record, the true length should not be only L2, which is measured from the top of the tube. It should be L2 plus E. E being the distance of anti-node from the open end. Why is it so? Don't have to know, not necessary. Focus your attention on what is necessary, what is useful. There are so many things we don't know, and many things we don't have to find an answer. So this is something we don't have to worry about. Why it is an antinode? You don't have to have a very exact answer. Just think it is yes, open-end, it forms an antinode. Be done with it. Antinode forms slightly above the top end of the tube, and this value is roughly is equal to 0.6 r, r being the radius of the tube. So this is called end correction. End correction is equal to 0.6 r, r being the radius of the tube. So the narrower the tube is, smaller the end correction. So whenever we record, so whenever we measure lambda by 4 is not L1. Lambda by 4 is from this point to this point. So lambda by 4 is L1 plus D. D is the end correction. Similarly, if I take if you take the second reading, 3 lambda by 4 is L2 plus D. Only thing what happens when we have two recordings, the difference between the two, when we take the difference between the two, the end correction gets cancelled out. Sorry, you take D's end correction in the figure. Okay, they take this also D. We can write D or E, whatever. So when we take difference between the two, so when we take the difference, end correction gets eliminated. Difference in two readings will give you lambda by 2. Or otherwise, this is a correct expression. L1 plus end correction is equal to lambda by 4. And let's understand this in terms of a simple example. Our tuning fork of frequency 340 Hertz is vibrated just above a cylindrical tube of length 120 meter. So length tube is 120 meter. Sorry, 120 centimeter, what I'm saying. Water is slowly poured in the tube. So it is other case, not water level is not lowered. Water level is slowly raised from the bottom. The initial length of the column is 120. It is slowly being reduced. So L is gradually being reduced. Speed of sound in the air is 340. It means all through the experiment, lambda is equal to 1 meter. Lambda is not changing. Speed of sound is not changing. And since you are using same tuning fork, frequency 340, B is equal to F lambda. From B is equal to F lambda, we can find the wavelength is equal to 1 meter. If wavelength is 1 meter, we know if assume there's no end correction here, in this case we assume end correction to be 0. I know which are the points at what air column length I will obtain resonance. Length of the air column, what are the length of air column? Minimum length is equal to lambda by 4, which is equal to 0.25 meter. Next one is 3 lambda by 4, 3 times of this, which is 0.75. And third one is 1.25 meters, so on and so forth. This has to be air column length for resonance to occur. We are starting from where what? We are starting from L is equal to 120 centimeter or 1.2 meter, and this is slowly being reduced. So we cannot observe this resonance. Which resonance it will occur first? This resonance, as we keep reducing from 1.2, this is lesser than 1.25 meter. And as we keep pouring more and more water, when this length becomes equal to 75 centimeter, we'll observe a resonance. When this length becomes 75 centimeter, what is the water we must have poured? We must have poured 45 centimeter of water. And as you keep pouring more and more water, water level will keep rising. When this length becomes equal to 25 centimeter, depth of water which is poured becomes 95 centimeter. Again, we'll hear one more resonance. So what has happened? All we are doing here, we have just calculated which are the lengths at which resonance will take place. In resonance columns, resonance will take place at lambda by 4, 3 lambda by 4, 5 lambda by 4. So whenever length matches, and where does lambda comes from? Lambda comes from the wavelength of the source. Then only this and this will match. The wavelength of frequencies to match, wavelength has to match. This wavelength matches with this wavelength, then only resonance takes place. Wavelength of standing wave inside the air column meeting boundary condition. If that matches with source wavelength, resonance takes place and the frequencies are equal. As part is part, length of the air column is gradually reduced from 120 centimeter. First resonance will be heard when water height is 45 centimeter. Yes.
Sir, at any of the intermediate length between L1 and L2, the air particles will still be vibrating with the same frequency, but it will disrupt to interference.
Yes, but they'll not vibrate in resonance.
So like there'll be destructive interference of the...
No, there will be resonance. So basically what you're saying, see, it is something like force oscillation. If I have a source of anything, we can force oscillation. any object which is free to oscillate, if I have a source which is oscillating at certain frequency, it makes it oscillate. Its frequency of oscillation is same as source, but amplitude will depend on omega minus omega naught. What is omega minus omega naught? Amplitude depends on source frequency and natural frequency of the object. When they become equal, amplitude becomes large. Even now also, when any in between length also, air molecules will oscillate, but amplitude of oscillation will be small because this is not constructive interference kind of thing. Only when this condition is met, there's a constructive interference, and this is standing waves get formed.
Yes.
So is the vibration happening? Yes, we will hear faint sound. Are the air molecules oscillating? Yes, they're oscillating, but amplitude of oscillation is small, and hence, since amplitude is small, the decibel level of sound what they create also is small, and you can very distinctly hear that sound.
Sir.
A similar question for this is also.
Sir.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Anil.
Sir, this is Anil, sir.
Yes, Anil.
For 2 minutes, sir. I want to discuss regarding examination.
Okay, I'll stop here. So now you can listen to more important things now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.